Hi, I'm Mollissimo, and if you've been following my videos for the past couple of weeks, then you know I am currently working my way through a writing slump on my project Heliacal Rising. In this series of videos, I've been trying to address both internal and external issues that I think might be causing this slump. For example, last week I dealt with an internal issue in that I went back and reread my story and tried to identify where I think early within the first 6 chapters I might have gone wrong and why that might subconsciously be making it difficult for me to continue in the story. For this week, I wanted to explore a more external issue, mainly my general lack of discipline. The plan for this week was to dedicate 2 hours every single day to writing, Monday through Friday, and see if that sort of habit building would help me break out of the slump. I'd really struggled all summer to work on this project, both because I was busy with family and working on other projects, but also just because I tend to avoid things that stress me out, and it was just so easy to say to myself, oh, I'll work on this story later. And then, of course, I never did. So of all my potential experiments that I had planned for this writing slump breaking attempt, this was the one that I thought really had the most potential to get me out of the trenches. If I could just get my butt in a chair for 2 hours every single day and commit to writing. But funnily enough, I kind of feel like that is the exact reason why I've waited so long to actually do this experiment. This isn't gonna really make sense, but basically, as much as I really do want to break out of my slump makes it so that I don't want to work on my story. And by breaking a slump, it means you're working on your story again, but I didn't want to because of my slump. So in a weird way, I didn't want my slump to end. I don't know, it's like very odd circular logic, but that's kind of the best way I can describe it at the moment. But I'd gone through basically all I could get through before this. I did research, I did character development, I organized my writing desk, did all sorts of stuff, and so finally I couldn't put it off anymore. It was time to do the dedicated writing time. This week went very interestingly, that's how I'm going to phrase it. I vlogged a good chunk of it, but there are some aspects missing, so I'll be kind of cutting in and out as kind of like glue between the clips. Now, when I first started this week, Anna Robbins and Stig Deardahl were hosting a 5 a.m. writing challenge in the Discord, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect timing. My writing chunk every single day will be from 5 to 7 a.m. and then I have these people in the community who I can work with, and so maybe I'll have a better chance of sticking with it. Just up front, that did not go well. I have regrets. It's currently 5:10-ish in the morning. I went to bed at 12:50 a.m. Oh my god. Okay, it is very early. I am technically awake. I have a glass of water and I've got my computer. I think how I'm gonna make this work is I'm going to spend the first hour, oh god, here we go. I'm going to spend the first hour researching different topics that I feel like I need to explore further for Project HR. The second hour, we're either going to research more if we need to, or we're gonna go into the story and attempt to draft, which would be the first time we officially draft in over a month. So wish me luck. It's 5:29, so by the end of me talking, we'll be 30 minutes into this thing. And so far, I have posted the fact that I'm awake in the Discord. I've gotten myself a glass of water, I've lit a candle, I've put on an instrumental playlist, I've opened my project journal, and I've stared off into space. It's a really strong start. Mainly I've been staring off into space, deciding what I should research. One of the internal issues that I listed in my lists of issues excuse, Jesus, was that I felt like there were parts of the story that were too big for me at the moment, that I couldn't really write because I wasn't educated enough. A lot of those issues are regarding philosophy. And I've already done a little bit of work in there. And so there's a part of me that's like, oh, well, let's do something different today. But I feel like I already have the groundwork and a little bit of research in that area. And so maybe because I'm struggling to kind of land on a task, maybe I'll just continue that one. I'll go onto my computer and do some research about philosophy. I've already spent time with our good friend Aristotle. That was a little bit of work done last week. My one concern, sorry to all the philosophers out there, this has the potential to be quite a dull task as we go tromping through academic literature. So there's a chance I could fall asleep at my desk. We'll see. Actually, I know exactly what I'm going to do. When I was doing the research last week on Aristotle, I found an article, I believe, on Kant that I wanted to look at, but unfortunately it was behind a paywall. But fortunately, I have someone in my family who's in academia and has access to things that are behind paywalls. So they've sent it to me, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to read an academic article about Kant. It's 14 pages if we don't count the bibliography. I have finished reading the article. It took about an hour to read 14 pages. Well, 17 pages because I did read the footnotes. That's the kind of mood I'm in this morning. I have a couple of lines that I've written down in my project book for remembering, a couple of quotes. Kant, it's pretty brutal, not gonna lie, but like brutal in the worst way. Yeah, I don't know about that. But my opinion on moral philosophers aside, I have to figure out what I'm going to do for the next 40 minutes because I can already tell you I'm not going to write. I am not in that headspace yet. Will I ever be? Who knows? I have no idea what I did for those next 40 minutes. I do know that I didn't write. And the next morning, Tuesday, was not much better. In fact, it was much worse. I did wake up at 5 a.m., but I did not get out of bed. And I spent just over an hour finishing up my reading and commenting that I was doing for last week's video. And once that was done, I went back to sleep. So again, just taking note, we're at 0 words written for the week and we're 40% of the way through this challenge. It was looking very bleak. 5 a.m. was not working for me, so I decided to call it and switch up my writing time, but to kind of keep it in the spirit of the 5-something writing challenge, I just moved my time 12 hours later and did 5 to 7, roughly, p.m. And this is how that went. It is currently 5:30-ish on, can't even remember the date, September 7th, and I'm going to attempt to write. I have decided to start over. It's not a huge start over. I'm just gonna spend time acknowledging the comments that I made of all the issues that I feel like exist in the first couple of chapters. Like I said in my video last week, I feel like the first 3 chapters are strong, so theoretically shouldn't take me so long to address those issues. Okay, we are half an hour into this, it's 6 o'clock, and if I thought that critiquing my work was difficult and was like pulling teeth, doing this, rewriting it, trying to address the critique and fix it, it is a whole different level of pain. My mind is rebelling against it so hard. I have fallen asleep twice. Which at this point, I swear it's psychological. Like, you can't convince me it's not. That's not normal. Like opening up a Scrivener document and then just immediately, like, that's not normal. I'm sorry. Maybe that's just how boring the story is, but I really don't I think it's psychological. I'm 132 words into it in half an hour. Amazing. We're doing so badly. Two hours. I did it. Proof. It's 7:31 and I got 3,400 words. Got through the entire first chapter and a couple pages into the second. When I woke up on Thursday, I was already dreading the 2 hours of writing I knew I had ahead of me. So I preemptively scheduled an emergency accountability buddy hang because I did not think that I was gonna do it on my own otherwise. Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm vlogging.
Ooh, hi vlog.
Okay, so are you cool with just like powering through for the next 2 hours and then we can check in at the end of 2 hours to see how it went? Or did you want to do like a break in the middle or?
Doesn't matter to me. It's whatever works for you. I'm good with literally anything.
Okay, let's just power through 2 hours.
Power through 2 hours. See you in 2 hours then.
See you in 2 hours. Okay, I do want to do a tiny check-in before I shut the camera off and can keep going, but man, oh man, I can already tell there's a huge difference today compared to yesterday. Today, I'm already just so much more in the moment and excited to be working in the project, which that's wild. There's almost no rebellion internally in me right now of like oh, I don't want to, or oh, let's go do something else. Let's go for a walk. Let's, watch TV. Let's go on Instagram. There's nothing like that right now. There's just a desire to be in the story. And as much as I would like to say that is because of all my brilliant experimenting and whittling around and trying to figure out the right process, I think what it was is that I talked with my agent today. I set up a call, a meeting, and we talked, not even for very long, it was just about half an hour, and I kind of told her everything that was on my mind, and it was really nice having her kind of reassure me that it was okay if this story takes a while to write. And we also came up with some alternative things, and conversation went in a lot of different directions and a lot of them were very exciting, but ultimately at the end of it all, I really feel like the pressure that I had been putting on myself for Heliacal Rising is abated. Not like completely abated, but momentarily. Maybe it's just like I'm still riding the high from the conversation with my agent, and so today is gonna be a good day, and who knows, maybe tomorrow it'll be tough again. But today feels really, really good. Kind of a huge joy and a huge relief to be working in this story and to be enjoying it rather than it feel like pulling teeth. So for that, I am very grateful. I still have about an hour and a half to go before this little session is over. So that's it for me for now, and I'll check back in later. Okay, we're about an hour into today's work, and I just wanted to make a note that I've made a tiny little change about my main character's behavior in the second chapter, and I'm really, really happy with it. I mean, it's literally less than a line difference, but feels like a really important change, and I feel like doing that character work that I've been doing since a couple of weeks ago informed that change. So I just wanted to touch in and say maybe some of these efforts to break the slump have been helping. Imagine that. And that's about it for the vlog clips. I did do my writing on Friday. I was on a plane home to Dallas for the weekend, and my plane happened to kind of coincide with the hours of 5 to 7. And that just as an experience was very interesting, because when I first boarded, I thought, ugh, this vlog's been so disjointed anyway, it's not even gonna happen. I'm just gonna sleep while I'm on the plane. But then once we were in the air, I pulled my computer out and I started working on Heliacal Rising. Because I wanted to, because I had ideas for chapter 3, ways to make it more coherent and cohesive and interesting and make me not fall asleep. Now, I didn't really vlog this part just because sometimes I do strategically choose not to vlog because the idea of vlogging itself might be a hindrance to writing. However, even though I didn't vlog, I did get a couple of moody shots of me staring out the plane with my head angled just slightly enough so that the plane's wings would reflect my sunglasses, so that was nice. But over the course of that flight, I got almost halfway through chapter 3 and was really, really thrilled with the way that it was setting itself up. But the most interesting aspect was that I was able to leave a placeholder in the chapter. I got to a spot where I had to describe a location that I have not been to yet, and I have always worried over this section. I felt like it's quite clinical. When I was working on the plane, I just deleted the words I didn't like and put in "fill in later after you visited," because I'm going to this place in October for a location visit. And when I tell you how big of a deal it is for me to do that, look, I know this doesn't sound revolutionary being able to put in a placeholder, but for me, it really is. My writing recently, especially with this story, has been you have to tough it out. Just get through the tough parts so you can get to the good parts. There's no skipping. You're gonna miss important information if you skip. And then I get so stressed out and worried by that, and by the fact that even though I'm toughing it out, the writing isn't good because it's not well informed. And so then I just stop writing completely. But that's not what happened here. I put in that placeholder with full conviction that I'm going to be able to go in later and fill it in and make it seamless, and it's gonna be okay that we skipped it. I feel like that really does represent a significant mindset shift for me. So I know this sounds all super exciting, but for now, sadly, I have to say this is where the Writing Slump series of videos is kind of coming not to an end, but maybe to a pause. It's the second week of September, and I have to really hunker down now in order to get This Book is for October completed and off to the printer so I can get it to my sister by October. Because I'm gonna be so busy with that, I don't have time to work on Heliacal Rising right now, which is frustrating. I'm hoping to return to it in October and then maybe give an update in November, checking in about how the slump is going. As for now, is the slump broken? I don't know. I mean, not technically, because I just admitted I'm not going to be working on Heliacal Rising for the next couple of weeks. And I haven't even finished rewriting the parts that I went back to. So there's a very good chance that I'm all happy-go-lucky right now, and I get back to the part of the story that would be brand new and I freeze up again and I'm totally lost. I do think that committing to 2 hours every single day is probably the best strategy, but I think that this week also demonstrated that I am not the most dedicated, and even if I have this idea of committing, am I actually going to do it? Although maybe it's just that it's a new habit and so it needs time to grow, and if I foster it and allow it to grow, then eventually I will be able to consistently get 2 hours every single day. So I think from an external perspective, that's probably going to be my best bet. From an internal perspective, I really, again, have to consider my conversation with my agent. There was such an extreme marked difference in my ability to work and engage with the story on Wednesday versus on Thursday. And the difference there was that I had called my agent. I really think taking the pressure off of the story was a huge shift for me. But also there's this weird other aspect where now that I'm committed to working on This Book is for October for the next couple of weeks, my brain is rebelling against that, and now it's feeding me up daydreams and ideas for Heliacal Rising. My mind feels so petulant. I don't want to work on this book for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then as soon as I can't, it's all I want to do. That fickle motherfucker